So, welcome to my very small tour of the Czech Republic. I've been there before, but this was a trip in 2013. About a week and a half I was there. And I just went to a few places, and I have too many slides of a few places, so I'm going to go through them fairly quickly. So I start in Prague, and so about 11 million people live in the Czech Republic. It's a fairly small population. And Prague is the capital with about 1.5 million people. And it's a beautiful city. I'm sure, how many of you have been to Prague, everybody? I'm sure no, hasn't been to Prague.
No, still want to go.
Oh, we have to fix that. I'll play a special table in Prague for you. Come back later.
Okay.
This map actually is not very helpful to me because for some reason I can't find out where I was. Usually I can explain where I was, but I don't know. But I was anxious to see the Bath cities, Marienbad and Carlsbad and a couple of other little towns that I had read about. So I didn't go to the same places Rick Steves did, and I didn't go to the usual places. And I don't know whether I was in Bohemia or Moravia, so it's not my usual erudite lecture because I don't know. So the Czech Republic is a developed country with an advanced high economic and living standards. It ranks as the 10th most peaceful country and has a strong democratic governance. It's a landlocked country surrounded by Germany, Austria, Slovakia, and Poland. The Czech Republic includes the historical territories of Bohemia, Moravia, and Czech Silesia. Czechoslovakia was occupied by Germany in World War II, I'm sure many of you know that, and was liberated in 1945 by Soviet and American forces. This is very interesting. Most of the German-speaking inhabitants were expelled after the war, and thus the country lost its sizable minority and its bilingual character. Then the Communist Party of Czechoslovakia won the 1946 elections, and in 1948 there was a coup d'etat, and Czechoslovakia became a one-party communist state under the Soviet influence. But there was a reform movement called the Prague Spring, which was in 1968 and ended the Soviet-led invasion. Czechoslovakia remained occupied until the 1989 Velvet Revolution, when the communist regime collapsed and a multi-party parliamentary republic was formed. On January 1st, 1993, Czechoslovakia peacefully dissolved, with its constituent states becoming the independent states of the Czech Republic and Slovakia, the capital of which is Bratislava, which we won't talk about, of course, today. We're just talking about the Czech Republic. How many of you been to the Czech Republic? Or Czechoslovakia, or whatever entity? Yeah. So you may know a lot more about this than I, but of course, Prague is considered one of the most beautiful capitals in the world, and it's bisected by the Vltava River, which is in German called Die Moldau, which is a very familiar tune to people. I was going to play it in the background. It's by Smetana. Some people consider it the Czech national anthem. It isn't. The trouble is it sounds a lot like the Israeli national anthem, so to avoid confusion I didn't play it. It's a beautiful, beautiful piece of music. Called the City of 100 Spires, and known for its Old Town Square, which we will visit, and its colorful Baroque buildings, Gothic churches, and the astronomical clock, which we'll visit, and the pedestrian Charles Bridge, which we'll visit, and you can see in the background there. When I came, when I landed in the airport, it was pouring rain and cold, and I didn't really know where I was going. I had a hotel reservation, and I took a train, subway or something, to the area that somebody told me to get off. But I had miles to walk in the pouring rain with my luggage. It wasn't much fun, I have to say. So finally, I stopped in this place for lunch. They weren't very friendly, I have to say, probably because I looked like a drowned cat. This is the currency. They're not on the euro.
No.
Everything is through a rainy windshield of my bus or taxi or whatever. This rain continued. It had been going on when I got there and continued for a couple of days, and so it resulted in some flooding. This is where I stayed. Nothing exotic about it. But that night, I found these four people, these three men, and they were a lot of fun. I don't know why this is over. They were from different places in the world. They had all started out, I think, in Ireland, but were living in different places, and they got together once a year for a reunion. And they were a lot of fun, so we had dinner together and spent the evening. This is the kitchen where we had dinner, very nice place. And this is the area. Wenceslas Square is sort of the business center. Buses go there, stores are here, and you can go anywhere from Wenceslas Square. Good King Wenceslas is down at the foot of the square somewhere. This is a better picture of it. Of course, this is a commercial picture, but this is how it should look in the sun and slightly colorated. Of course, two composers that come to mind right away are Dvorak and Smetana. This is Dvorak's funeral in 1904. He was a very popular composer there, of course, as well as here. When he came to America, he composed the New World Symphony that we're all familiar with. And there's Smetana, lived about the same time as Dvorak, and known very much for the music for the tone poem Die Moldau. It's the opera house in the rain. The weather improved slightly, and I wasn't sure what to do. I was totally an independent traveler. Even though I'd been to Czechoslovakia before, I really didn't know where to go. So I asked at the hotel, and they said there was a tour to this place, Kutná Hora, which is in Bohemia. And so I took the bus there, and it's a beautiful little town. As Rick Steve says, the country is full of beautiful little towns. This one began in 1142, and it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, this city and its neighboring city, Sedlec. This is, Sedlec is a city, the site of the Gothic Cathedral of Our Lady and the famous ossuary. Has anybody ever been to an ossuary?
Mm-hmm.
You have. And what's in an ossuary?
Bones.
Bones. Yes. This was sort of shocking. Anyway, we'll soon see it. But this is the city. It's really charming, beautiful city. The bridge has beautiful statuary. Cathedral at night. So this is the ossuary, and it's in a small Catholic chapel behind the cemetery Church of All Saints. It's one of the 12 World Heritage Sites of the Czech Republic, and it's estimated to contain the skeletons of between 40,000 and 70,000 people, whose bones have in many cases been artistically arranged to form decorations and furnishings in the chapel. And I knew that many thousands of Jews had died in Czechoslovakia under the hand of the Germans, and I was wondering whether this was some macabre way of displaying their bones. Well, that's not what it is. It's ossuaries occur when places run out of burial grounds, and they actually unearth the bones and use them for decorative purposes. I had never seen anything like this. Chandelier of bones, which contains at least one of every bone in the human body. That's this that we're looking at here. And you can see the skulls all around. I do have a pointer, but hello. So an ossuary is a chest, a box, or a building, or a well, or a site made to serve as the final resting place of human skeletal remains. They are frequently used where burial space is scarce. A body is first buried in a temporary grave. Then after some years, the skeletal remains are removed and placed in an ossuary. The greatly reduced space taken up by an ossuary means that it is possible to store the remains of many more people in a single tomb than if the original coffins were left as is. So it's very practical, that's what it is. But very decorative. So 4 enormous bell-shaped mounds occupy the corners of the chapel, and the enormous chandelier bones, which I talked about before. The Kutnahara Bone Church is a unique, fascinating, and scary memorial. Most of the decorations made from human bones. Okay.
What time period was this done?
Good question. I wouldn't be surprised if it was like 16th or 17th century. That's the church from the outside. Perfectly respectable. Another cemetery, a regular cemetery. There's a lot of churches in Kutnahora. They're beautiful churches. This is a different one. And little places to eat. It was still raining partly, but the town is very attractive. And the countryside of Czechoslovakia, or Czech Republic, is very nice. So back in Prague, I was on a guided tour walking tour. A guy raced around, I couldn't follow him, and eventually took us to this fantasy where people are flying in the air, sort of based on the story of Alice in Wonderland. Very interestingly done. I probably wouldn't have gone there myself, but see, that's what it is. You see Alice floating there in the distance. It may be where Chagall got his inspiration, or vice versa. So this is the flooding of the river, and as you can see, the bottom parts of these old buildings are underwater. So this was a really bad flood. And many of the public buildings that would have been open were closed. In fact, the Charles Bridge was closed for a while. This is Old Town Square. This is good King Wenceslaus. Looks down at his feet uneven. No. You know, mostly what's interesting, is the architecture. So you're going to see a lot of pictures of that. This is a place to buy stuff. There's some very fancy stores in the square, the Old Town Square, with a lot of crystal. This is the famous astronomical clock. So every 15 minutes there's some kind of show with little soldiers coming out, marching out, I guess. But I didn't take a video of it. I remember it from the first time I was in Czechoslovakia a long time ago. Very well done. Little tram that goes through, horse and carriage. Good place to get married, especially for a pink tuxedo. The town square is really full of conveyances and tourists and all kinds of tourist attractions. A little annoying. And nice manhole covers. This is an aerial view of it, not taken by me. They have their bikes together. Another wedding. The conveyance. Oh, that was Franz Kafka, by the way. These really are beautiful works of art. So The Jewish Quarter in the Old Town is very famous. It's where some of the best hotels are, and it's very interesting to walk through, called Josefov. No, I'm not pronouncing that right. It's the smallest area of Prague, formerly the Jewish ghetto, completely surrounded by Old Town. And Jews were believed to have settled there as early as the 10th century. The first pogrom was in 1096, and eventually they were concentrated within a walled ghetto, which is the Jewish Quarter. In 1389, one of the worst pogroms saw 1,500 Jews massacred at Easter Sunday. The ghetto was most prosperous toward the end of the 16th century, when the Jewish mayor Mordecai Meisel became the Minister of Finance and a very wealthy man. His money helped develop the ghetto. Most of the quarter was demolished between 1893 and 1913 as part of an initiative to model the city on Paris. What was left were only 6 synagogues, the old cemetery, and the old Jewish town hall, now all part of the current Josefov. Medieval Josefov is depicted in the 1920 film The Golem, composed of cramped, angular, squinted buildings, but this impression is used purely to convey the expressionist nature of the film. The old town is now very prosperous. This is a statue, a monument to Franz Kafka, and I can't find out who did this. Very weird. This is a synagogue that is open to tourists, and it is called the most beautiful synagogue in Europe. It is very beautiful. They were having a concert there that night. I think I went. I can't remember. It's amazing. Of course, this was left from when the ghetto. Of course, this is the armbands the Jews had to wear. It's a beautiful area to walk around in. Here's a kosher restaurant. Interesting menu with venison, quail, lamb, veal.
Yeah.
The Jewish Museum has a lot of interesting things in there, including this list of people who were exterminated by the Nazis. I'm not sure what that is. Another synagogue. And this beautiful Jewish cemetery. Here's an advertisement for another kosher restaurant. This is the interior of the old new synagogue. Beautiful. So that's the end of the Jewish Quarter. This is a souvenir shop, and right around there I bought this scarf, which has pictures from the Jewish Quarter on it. Beautiful scarf. The Golem. These are still buildings in the Jewish Quarter, but that edges right out to the old town square. Very fancy shops there. Another synagogue. This is the old town square now. So then I walked over to the river, which had slightly receded from its flood state, but was still quite in turmoil. And still the old buildings, many of them were closed. It's very reminiscent of walking by the Seine. A balloon guy. That would have been quite a ride, a balloon trip over old Prague. Is the Kafka Museum. Some of those old buildings in the famous part of town. This is a place where you can have dinner. I think this boat was not functioning. As I said, the bridge was closed, but this is a side view of it. Sandbag, just like we have here. This is on the river, on the bridge. Another wedding. Another church. I think we're approaching the Opera House here. Yes. And the Ballet Theater. There's the bridge again. So I was getting hungry by this time, and I thought it was time to eat a traditional Czech meal.
Mm-hmm.
I knew they were very heavy, and I wasn't going to eat too many of them. But I thought this might be the time, so I found this place which specializes in traditional Czech meals. And there it is. That's just for me. So you can see why people don't eat too many of those. So that's a duck and a dumpling
Looks good.
and red cabbage. It was good. It just was a lot. I could barely walk afterwards.
But they don't, they pack up and
No, they don't pack up the remains, I don't think. I didn't ask.
She ate it all.
And I did have a beer, of course, with it. There are some Muslims in Prague. And the bus that would have taken me from my hotel to the main part of Prague was rerouted because of flooding, so that wasn't too convenient. There's the river. That's the Moldau, the original sounds of the Moldau. There weren't boat trips because it was way too rough, but if there had been, this is what you would have seen. There, Charles Bridge is open again. Another day, when I got hungry, I discovered this amazing Lebanese restaurant right in the middle of everything, near the Charles Bridge and everything. And I had spent a lot of time in the Middle East, as you probably know, and I love Middle Eastern food, so I was very excited about this place, and it definitely lived up to expectations. Wonderful food.
Was that all yours there?
Yeah, all mine, right? That's the menu. Near my hotel are these very famous, it's the Dancing Hotel. And some people call it Ginger Rogers and Fred Astaire. There it is, the dancing building. So this was designed, of all people, by Frank Gehry, and a Croatian architect. And it was built on an empty plot of land where a stray World War II missile had taken out a building. So it's one of the few structures in Prague that was damaged during the war. Fortunately, Prague was not damaged during the war. And there's not that much modern art or architecture there. So these two are unusual. There was a lot to do at night, musically and otherwise. I didn't do too much of it, but it was all available. So a couple of days later, I decided to go to Marienbad, or there's a Czech name for it, to see what the baths are like. Mariánské Lázně, that's what it's called. Very pretty area around there. So taking the waters. The town, surrounded by green mountains, is a mosaic of parks and noble houses. I'll show you those. Most of its buildings come from the town's golden era in the second half of the 19th century, when many celebrities and top European rulers came to enjoy the curative carbon dioxide springs. Marienbad remained a popular destination between World War I and World War II. After World War II, the ethnic German population of the town was forcibly expelled, according to the Potsdam Agreement, thereby emptying the town of the majority of its population. It's a very Germanic-seeming town, even though the Germans were expelled. Well, not even though, but probably because they built it. After the communist coup d'etat in 1948, it got sealed off from most of its foreign visitors. After the return of democracy in 1989, much effort was put into restoring the town to its original characters. Today, it's not only a spa town, but also a popular holiday resort, thanks to its location among the green mountains of the sport facilities. And then you see on the right, and I'll show you more, the top attraction of the town is its 100 mineral springs. 53 of them are tapped and used, with high carbon dioxide content and often higher iron content, both in the town itself and its surroundings. They're very well kept. The pavilions and the colonnades are built around them, and we'll see those. I found this quite remarkable. It's like a throwback. So I was there in 2013. I kept thinking I was going to see Mitt Romney there. This is his kind of town. Very nice, clean, conservative, quiet, good food, luxurious. This is a little river that flows through it. These are the cups you buy to take the waters. These are the biscuits you eat while you're taking the waters. These are some of the town architecture masterpieces, I think. These are people waiting to take the waters. The rust you can see, I guess, results from the carbon dioxide. Iron, that's right, thank you, of course. This is the colonnade. It's off and on rainy. You can see people have umbrellas. This is some of the beautiful architecture on the colonnade. Crystal shop, vodka. And there we go, drinking the waters. It's really a beautiful area. It's like a throwback, about 100 years.
Did you take any spa treatment there?
I didn't take any spa treatments, and I don't even know where you get the treatments, I guess in the hotels. But I drank a lot of the water.
Did you feel a difference?
Yes, I mean, I'm really 125 years old still. Well, there was a lot of rain, too. So I had dinner at this hotel. Very nice. I'm not sure who he was, but he didn't quite fit in there. Maybe he was sort of a Greek Orthodox minister or something. Priest.
As far as Marienbad from Prague?
I'm trying to remember. I think it was about a 2-hour train ride. The trouble is I can't show it to you on the map because I don't know where it is. And I can't find it on that map that I showed you, so I don't know. It's pretty stupid. I don't usually do that kind of thing. But on the internet I could find out, yes. A lot of good food there, as you can see. We had a little concert every afternoon. A lot of German visitors, of course. Remember the movie last year at Marienbad?
Yeah.
That was a little sinister. This is not sinister at all. That's how it is there in Marienbad.
Looks good.
It's very relaxing, very clean, very nice.
Very beautiful.
So there was a little performance at that hotel that we just saw that night that I went to. nice chandelier. Thank you. It's from Fledermaus, Hilda tells us.
I think.
There was a little something going on between her and the conductor, I'm not sure. Here's another singer. That's a church, I guess, yeah. I think this is where I had dinner. Dolls.
It's German.
So my next spa town was Carlsbad. Some of these slides may be mixed up, but Karlovy Vary. This looks like Marienbad again. It is, sorry. Oh, this is me taking the, I'm sorry, this is back at Marienbad. So this is still Marienbad. Oh, that's where I had dinner, yeah.
These for the eye. And tummy.
This is a whole different place.
Sometimes.
This is now Carlsbad. Oh, biscuits again. Sorry. Sorry, I get these mixed up. Little tribute to Goethe. Oops, this is Loquet. Okay. I had read about this little town, and I found my way over here. I'm not sure if the chronology here is correct, but it's a small town of about 3,000 people, and it has a big castle. And it's surrounded by a river, which is why it's called Elbow, because it looks like an elbow in the middle of the river. And it has a big castle. And it has an opera, not while I was there. And actually it has a lot of other musical events. I got a little bit lost, and I talked to a guy who looked like a hippie kind of guy carrying a guitar case. He told me he was later playing a gig in Loquet. And I found out it's a funky little town, very interesting. I really enjoyed it. And I found out about this hotel, Cesar Ferdinand. Here's a didgeridoo concert that's going to go on in Loquet. This is it. This is the hotel I found. It's an old hotel, the Cesar Ferdinand. And for some reason they had no idea what to do with me. So they gave me a very fancy suite. It only has 23 rooms. Up a 2-story suite on top, and I had a marvelous view of the town. I never went up to the second floor of the suite to find out what was up there. Here I am in the dining room. This is my room, or my apartment. I had a kitchen there and lots of beds and a dining room table and everything. And then the second floor, I don't know what it was. But
Put it right to
huh? Beautiful place. This is a little street, typical. This is a painting on a house. As you go up, the town goes way up, as you'll see, and then goes way down to the river. And as you go down to the river, the houses are sort of funkier, and there's these kind of funny paintings on the houses. This is really cute. Bikers are there. This is the center of the center square. This is coming up the mountain, the hill a little bit. Somebody, there's a high liver there. A strudel, an ice cream place in the middle of town. Very, very nice. I love this little town. There's a concert coming up. That was a bunch of beer kegs, in case you didn't notice. Center Square.
Very charming town.
It is, it's wonderful. That looks like me serving that beer. I don't know how that happened.
Put your face in it.
My hands are there too, it looks like.
Very charming.
It's very charming. I see that a palm tree was there. Oh, this, I'm sorry, this is from Carlsbad, but anyway. Showa. There's more. We should get one of these in San Diego. It was good. She's very disappointed. Okay, so much for that. So this is in Carlsbad too. Big spring. Don't drink this. For some reason, I don't know why. This is downtown. This is a popular dish, of course, all over.
Doesn't that look delicious?
This is a depiction of what it was like. Sorry, this is back to Marienbad again. There's the castle in Loket. And Edith Piaf is coming. No, she's not coming. Oops, more colonnades.
Can you compare their food with other European?
Oh, like German, Austrian. Yeah. Oh, this is, I'm sorry, this is back in Marienbad. And this is one of the famous fountain. Goes off every hour, I think. So everybody's waiting.
Beautiful yellows.
Anyway, this goes on for a while. It is really a show. I think Marienbad is definitely worth a trip. It's a real throwback.
And that other little town you mentioned.
Oh, Loket, yes.
I love that too.
Yes.
What is this?
Loket, I think.
Are the people welcoming to visitors?
Not particularly. They're nice, they're okay. Rick Steves talks about the people are a little cool and aloof. And there's a couple of YouTube shows about what to do if you're new in Czech Republic trying to settle there, for example, pointing out that people are not too helpful or friendly. Okay. So in Carlsbad, I didn't find, but I had previously made a reservation at this Edinburgh, which is a bar. And in the back, he's got 2 rooms, maybe 3. And he was very welcoming, by the way. He was a Scottish bartender. And I had a lot of fun there. It was also a biker bar, which I didn't realize. And that's around there. Very nice. Oh, that's the castle again in Loket. Oh gosh, got those all mixed up. Some of the buildings in Carlsbad. It's a beautiful country. You can see from the train how green it is. It's not mountainous, but it's hilly. So having seen all the fountains, I asked my bartender landlord what there was to see. And I had read that there was a brewery pretty close by. There's a vineyard. This is Loket again. Interesting museum. There's another one of those windows. And there's the center of Loket. And as you go up the hill to the castle, of course you have to drink beer. There's another concert in Loket Hotel. There it is. That's how you spell it. So I don't know if they had a Goethe tour there or not, but that's my hotel. Probably Goethe stayed there. More strudel. A lot of people were wearing these funky outfits. I don't know why. Let's Loket again, very funky town. And good, they had ice cream. This is my apartment again. There's people on a train. This is the map of Loket, so you can see the river goes all around it. It's almost an island. And so all these nice buildings, the middle is the high part, and then all around are these low areas where people have these interesting buildings and faces on the walls and things like that.
It's an island.
Very, an arty town.
Island.
Look like Ireland. Remind you of Ireland?
No, well, the greenery does. But
Yeah.
it's
Cobblestones, of course. There's a little bridge near my hotel. So these are sister cities, including Carlsbad, our own Carlsbad. There's my pub, again, my Edinburgh pub.
Scottish pub.
It was fun to stay there. There it is. That's a different place. The menu in my pub. Some decorations. And the breakfast that they served. I think I was the only person staying there, but I got very good hospitality.
Scottish Czech breakfast.
Scottish Czech breakfast, yeah. So,
There are a lot of pest columns in this country.
pest columns.
Pest,
Pest, yes.
from the plague.
Let me talk to you about that later.
Back one, another, there.
What is that?
That's a pest column.
A pest column
Yeah, from the plague.
from the plague.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot of them.
What does that mean? This chasing away?
No, they
No,
erected
it's
these as
celebrating when the plague
Thanksgiving
left.
from getting rid of the plague.
Oh,
Right.
wow, that's very interesting. So,
Yes.
Which
Yes.
is the right,
Thanksgiving for getting rid of the plague.
that's right. One on the
Interesting.
right,
So this is the little town of Chodavar. So when I said to my Scottish landlord that I had seen enough spas and stuff like that, what else was there to do, and I had read about this brewery, he said, oh yeah, I'll take you there. So it was about a 20-minute ride. He drove me there and picked me up later on. And it's this nice little town, the center of which is this brewery. Very nice. And then I see these bathtubs. And it seems like you can have a bath in the beer. So this is what I found on the internet about what somebody wrote about this. I didn't. It says, on our trip we chose the Relax One package, which seemed to be quite popular. This package included 2 nights in hotel use Slakta, 1 beer bath for 2 people, 20 minutes, a partial massage, 20 minutes, a hot grain pack, 20 minutes, 2 meals each in restaurant Stara Slavona, a brewery tour, and a welcome present.
Wow.
The beer bath was definitely the best part. Individual or tubs for 2, I didn't see those, are available. Once we entered, a kind woman instructed us to take our shoes off and to change clothes and wrap ourselves in a white sheet. Then we hopped into our bath, which was a mix of hot mineral water, beer, and some grains from the beer fermentation process. They also gave us a small beer to sip in our bath. Not only was this extremely relaxing, but beer baths are also beneficial for your skin. This is a much better bath than Rick Steves had, I think. Also, be sure not to shower after. Depending on when your bath is, the ladies will tell you not to shower till a certain time. Don't worry, you won't smell like beer, and to get the most out of your bath for your skin, follow their instructions. Which is true. After your beer bath, you'll be escorted to a relax room where you rest on lounge chairs and are wrapped up in blankets. This is supposed to help your skin absorb all the nutrients from the bath as well as help you relax. All true. So these curtains get closed, and I was with a mother and a daughter from Prague, and their respective husbands were there. So there were 2 guys and 3 women, me, and then they pulled the curtains, so we didn't see each other. That is, men didn't see the women. And out of that comes this hot beer mineral water combination. There's the actual brewery. Well, we saw that. So there's the attendant helping, and this the daughter of, and there's the mother in the back waving.
How did it feel?
How did I get this picture is the question.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not saying how I got this picture.
Oh, you didn't pay attention to the curtain.
This is the daughter about to get into her bath. It felt great.
is it folding like that?
I tell you, this was a big treat.
She's hiding.
We took pictures of each other. That was really great fun. You know, I gave them my camera, they gave me their camera.
That's not a small glass of beer.
No, it's a big glass of beer. Not from the tap. You know, the tap is a little diluted.
That's why it felt.
Medicinal properties, yes. We had fun together.
Great idea.
There it is. See how relaxing that is? I really highly recommend that.
Reservation now.
Now, yes. Or we could maybe convince the V to do such a thing in one of the extra rooms here.
Lots of love.
Meanwhile, there was storks there. That little restaurant.
No.
Okay, time for a beer. Thanks for traveling with me to the Czech Republic.
You're bad.